Hello and welcome everyone, we Weeb Online, and today I'm gonna start a new series, What If Naruto Conquered the Whole Elemental Nation Part 1. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and to watch more videos like this, subscribe to my channel and turn that bell notification on so you never miss an upload. Now wasting no more time, let's begin.
Naruto dashed to the hospital, where he found Kakashi waiting in one of the hospital's hallways. "Hey, Kakashi-sensei, I was wondering if you could help me train for the exams." Naruto asked his Jounin-sensei, hopeful. "I'm sorry, Naruto, but I'm training Sasuke ... He needs more help than you do because he's going up against Gaara," Kakashi said, not looking up from his Ika. "But you saw what Neji did to Hinata. How am I supposed to defeat him?" said Naruto, annoyed that his sensei was dismissing him. "And you saw what Gaara did to Lee. Sasuke might get killed," Kakashi shot back, his voice firm. "And so will I if I don't get stronger. Can't you just give me a scroll to help me out or something?" Naruto begged, because anything would suffice at this point. "Look, Naruto, I can't train you because I don't have time. Sasuke has a better chance of winning against Gaara than you do against Neji because you can't control your chakra. Your jutsu selection is limited to the Academy Jutsu and a B-rank Kenjutsu. Your Taijutsu stinks, and your Genjutsu is non-existent. Sasuke has a variety of Katen Nin. So that's it, huh?" Naruto asked his Jounin. "You have no talent, and I can't have my reputation tarnished if you lose to Neji," Kakashi continued, not even looking at Naruto. He would have seen the pure rage in Naruto's eyes if he had looked up. That's when Naruto snapped and his killing intent skyrocketed, forcing Kakashi to look at Naruto. Needless to say, Naruto was enraged ... enraged. "So that's how you feel, Hahadik?" Kakashi flinched at Naruto's way of saying his surname. "Naruto, calm," Kakashi said, but was met with unexpected killer intent, and he thought he saw a flash of crimson slit eyes instead of Naruto's blue ones. Calm down. Don't you dare tell me to calm fucking down, Hatake. After all I've done for this team, you'd cast me aside. Who was the one who saved your ass when you were captured by Zabuza? Not Sasuke, me. Who was the one who defeated Haku-san? Not Sasuke, me. Who was the one who stood up to Orochimaru instead of cowering like a Naruto? I. Kakashi tried to explain, but Naruto wouldn't listen, and the blonde's eyes flashed red once more. "Don't address me as if you know who I am. Haddock, from now on, you will only address me as Uzumaki, and nothing else in my presence," said Naruto, to which Kakashi objected. "I am your sensei Naruto, and I will address you as I see fit," exclaimed Kakashi. But Naruto wasn't finished and continued speaking. "Also, you're not a teacher, hell. I bet the closet pervert, Abisu, can teach better than you, and he's one of the weakest shinobi I've ever seen with his rank. What kind of sensei gives personal training to one of his students and leaves the rest to fend for themselves? We could have died in the exam against Orochimaru because of your blatant ass kissing of the Uchiha, you son of a Naruto, that is no way to talk to your sen." Kakashi began as he attempted to correct his volatile student. "Sensei, you have no right to that title. All I see is a Uchiha cocksucker. You know what? I'm done with this team, you, Haruno, and the bitch-ass Uchiha." "Nah," said Kakashi again, but the boy's killer intent had increased, and it would be quite impressive if things had gone differently. "Fuck you, Haddock. I'll never talk to you again. I respected you once, but now I see what I mean to you, and it's the same belief as the others. You fucking hypocrite of an asshole. Go ahead and train your Uchiha fuck buddy. Know that when I do beat Neji, your precious Sasuke is next, and I'm going to beat him within an inch of his life," said Naruto before stalking out of the "Stop, Naruto, I command it," yelled Kakashi, but Naruto grabbed his wrist and spun on his heel with a kunai in hand, slicing his Ika paradise in half. "Never, ever, put your hands on me again, Haddock, or I will kill you ... even if you were my father's student," snarled Naruto. He knows how. Sandaime vowed never to tell him anything. "I couldn't stop Naruto because I was too stunned," Haddock thought as he watched the boy storm out of the hospital and onto the streets of Konoha. "I cannot believe that hypocritical jerk." As he walked down the street, Naruto reflected. When the villagers noticed him, they immediately began staring at him. They were surprised, however, when he glared back at him with added killer intent. He even backhanded an adult who thought it would be hilarious to trip the demon brat and watch him fall. As soon as he said that, the crowds parted to allow him to pass, not wanting to agitate the demon brat any further. His enhanced hearing picked up on their frantic whispering. "Did you notice that? I warned you that he was a demon. Only a monster would attack a defenseless poor man. We should have killed him as a child." Monster, demon, freak. Naruto could barely keep himself from lashing out at the idiots he swore to protect. "Hold on, Naruto. They're just waiting for an excuse to complain to the councils and have the old man punish you, Naruto reasoned, remembering what had happened in the past. So, with great effort, Naruto calmed down slightly and simply glared back, letting them know that if they did anything first, he'd see they lost a few limbs. After the first attack on his life at the age of 4, he was terrified of people at first, but after the entire situation was explained to him during the incident with Mizuki, face lets it, people he was angry, who wouldn't be after learning that the reason the entire civilian population and the majority of shinobi despised you was due to something beyond your control. He became even angrier when he discovered that the person who had done this to him, the Yondaime Hokage, was also his father, which he had learned from the Forbidden Scroll of Sealing. What parent would do this to their own children? The Yondaime was a moron for placing so much trust in so many morons. Naruto was also furious at the Sandaime Hokage for keeping this information from him, though not nearly as much as he was at his father for keeping this information from him for so long. The only reason he wasn't angrier at the old man was because he executed everyone who had ever physically harmed him. He couldn't, however, do anything about the people who psychologically abused him. The elderly man was also unaware that the majority of the teachers at the academy were constantly tampering with his grades. Or, if he did, he was doing nothing about it for fear of losing favor with the village as Hokage. Naruto had checked, and if they hadn't messed with his grades, he would have finished 3rd in the class, with the Uchiha still 1st and Shino Aburame 2nd. I can't stand this place any longer. I want to leave and never look back, Naruto thought as rage rose within him. Unfortunately, Naruto was so angry that he missed a group of Jounin talking to each other, as well as the blonde being one of the Chunin exam finals contestants. They felt the boy should be injured beyond repair, unable to not only make it to the exam finals, but also to be a Konoha shinobi at all, and decided to do the Hyuga clan a favor by removing the so-called opposition from the game. The group waited until Naruto moved to a more secluded location before striking the blonde and beating him to within an inch of his life, as so many others had done before. Unbeknownst to him, a reptilian figure with hunger in his eyes was watching the events unfold in front of him, and he was not Orochimaru. Filthy humans. To think the Raiden the Elder God favors you. Why he does, I'll never understand, exclaimed the figure, prompting the shinobi surrounding the bleeding Uzumaki to look around to find no one else. Who's there? Show yourself, exclaimed the group's leader before he cried out in agony as an invisible clawed hand went through his torso. Why do that, human, when this is so much easier, exclaimed the reptilian voice as the invisible creature bit into the shinobi's neck and slaughtered the other shinobi before they could attack. Monster, exclaimed one shinobi as the creature appeared, but wished he hadn't because the creature dripped acid from his mouth and shot it at the dying man. Fool. Now what to do with you? Your scent seems familiar. Tainted in a sense. No, not tainted. Locked away. Yes, that's what I smell. But why is it familiar? Could it be he's but I thought the child died shortly after birth. And that was ages ago before the 10th Mortal Kombat tournament that vile sorcerer failed to secure Earthrealm in the name of Out, along with the Elder Gods. Elder Gods, I beg your pardon to prevent Reptile from taking the boy to the Shao Kahn, exclaimed Raiden as he stood before his fellow Elder Gods, each of whom was staring back at him. No, Raiden. You will not stop this, we forbid it, an elder god to Raiden's right said. Surely you see that the boy is a threat to Earthrealm if he falls into the hands of Shao Kahn, Raiden said as the elder gods frowned at him. You set things in motion when you took Shao Kahn and Sindul's offspring away from them all those years ago. You brought his progeny to Earthrealm as a last resort against the Emperor should the conquest of Earthrealm be assured. And instead that boy grew to become what the people now call the Sage of Six Paths, said another elder god behind Raiden. I couldn't risk Shao Kahn's offspring growing up to be stronger than his sire, and leading a campaign against Earthrealm. We would never have survived had the child been raised by his father. The same will happen with this boy holding the strongest of the Biju in him, Raiden explained, his eyes glowing with the Elder God's light. We are aware of Raiden's burden. Uzumaki Naruto is his descendant, born in Earthrealm with the blood of the Emperor Shao Kahn of Outward running through his veins, and thus can traverse between the two realms without reprimand from any of us. However, Shao Kahn is still prohibited from invading Earthrealm, and we have long since ended the Mortal Kombat tournaments to ensure the safety of the realms long after his final attempt at invading. Sighing in defeat, Raiden could only watch events unfold and hope that his actions from many years ago did not come back to haunt him. Master Shao Kahn, I bring something important before you that requires your full attention on this matter, Reptile said as he kneeled before the Emperor of Outworld, holding the child out in front of the man. And this dying child, You bring this weak thing from Earthrealm before me for what reason, reptile? Shao Kahn asked, his floor stained with the boy's blood. He is no mere child, my emperor. I have discovered something of great importance in my travels into Earthrealm, Reptile said, while the emperor was unimpressed. Speak, tell me what you've learned, including bringing this child to me, Shao Kahn said, his guards ready to strike down the lizard warrior if their emperor ordered it. This child he is of your bloodline, exclaimed Reptile, and Shao Kahn rushed up to him, fist to the reptilian man's neck. You lie. I have only had one child, and my son was pronounced dead shortly after breathing his first breath as Prince of Outworld, exclaimed Shao Kahn, the pain of losing his progeny still stinging him to this day. I don't understand it either, my emperor, but I swear to you this boy has a sense similar to yours, and it can only be possible if he were of your bloodline. And he also has strange markings on him that could only be that of an elder god's. Though it reeks of death, said Reptile as Shao Kahn looked at the boy on the ground before nudging Naruto onto his back and ripping open the shirt to see the seal. Shao Kahn recognized the marking on the boy because it was the marking of an elder god who was associated with death. And there was only one elder god associated with death. Of course, the elder god had fallen far, losing his title and becoming a god of death, just as Raiden had once been a god of thunder. Shinnok's power over the boy's seal. Bring me my best healers right now, said Shao Kahn to a servant, who quickly bowed and ran off to obey the command. I don't believe your son died soon after birth, my emperor, said Reptile as the ruler of Outworld gently touched the boy, a sense of something long since dead rise up and grasp his heart in an iron grip. Then what happened to him? Why is my legacy so frail? Shao Kahn wondered as he used his power to peer into the boy's mind and see his memories, only to become enraged by what he saw. Mob beatings, constant abuse at the hands of those maggots, followed by a lack of and sabotage of the boy's overall training. But what really made Shao Kahn's blood boil was that this was leading back to a memory from the child's birth, revealing a secret kept from the Emperor of Outworld. You must ensure that the boy does not reach his full potential, Sandaime Hokage. He has the blood of a powerful being running through his veins that has the potential to shatter the world, you know. And with the Kyuubi sealed inside of him now, the risk is multiplied, Raiden said in the Sandaime Hokage's office. Jiraiya spoke to me earlier about the child of prophecy the Toad Elders mentioned, and I fear given the boy's heritage combined with this new information, growth Naruto's has to be stunted. I'll see to it. The news of him being the Jinchuriki of Kyuubi will see to that when I make it public, said the Sandaime as Raiden nodded and looked at the boy. Make sure the boy is strong enough to defend your village, but no more than that, and make sure agents are in place to kill him should any of that kind of power manifest itself. The Emperor's bloodline must not reach its apex in this realm. And given what he now holds, I am tempted to strike the child down now if it weren't for the Elder Gods forbidding it, Raiden said, his hand covered in lightning. Raiden. He took my son from me. Curse you, Thunder God, screamed Shao Kahn before punching a nearby pillar and destroying it. This boy is your legacy, Reptile said in shock, as many of the Emperor's generals and servants looked on in horror at what had happened to their leader. This complex seal is empowered by none other than Shinnok himself. Prepare a room for the child and tend to his injuries immediately. Know that if he dies, you will beg the Elder Gods to save you, and the demons of the Netherrealm to torture you for eternity in their domain, Shao Kahn said, as healers and armed guards assisted in taking the boy to an assigned room to help Naruto recover. I saved the boy from being beaten by the people in his village, my emperor. They were talking about him competing in something called the Chunin exams, and how they were going to make sure he didn't, said Reptile, Shao Kahn's eyes narrowing and the fire from them producing smoke from the intensity. You have done me a great service, Reptile. Name your reward, and I will grant it if such a wish is within my power to grant, Shao Kahn said as Reptile bowed in front of him. I have nothing to ask of you, my emperor, but if it were possible, I would like to help train the boy and see his development grow, Reptile said, with Shao Kahn nodding in agreement. Done. Now leave my sight. I need to think about my legacy, Shao Kahn said, seeing Reptile bow and leave the Emperor's throne room while the man's mind went through what he knew of the boy's own memories, and the creature he was holding. Naruto jerked awake as he felt consciousness reach him and realized he was in a strange place that was quite dreary in a horror movie kind of way. Naruto's vision was blurry at first, but he could see and feel the dark energies of this place. Surprisingly, the blonde was not afraid of such things, but rather felt at ease in them, as if it were natural, and wished to embrace more of what was causing it to happen. Naruto frowned as he noticed his hand above the bed sheet was bandaged, as he had always healed quickly. His entire body had felt out of sync since the Forest of Death and the fight with Orochimaru. That is, until now, when his body felt better. Actually, it's a lot better. He hadn't felt this good in ever. Are you okay, young one? The deep voice above him inquired. Yeah, I think so, Misty. Holy shit, you're huge, Naruto exclaimed as he turned to face the person he had just walked into. He was 7 feet tall. He wore a helmet that said Warlord. The front of the mask was made of bone. His eyes were crimson red, and he had some wrinkles covering his face. He was wearing armor along his shoulders and elbows that gleamed in the light of the room with dried blood. His torso had leather straps forming an X shape with a dragon-like symbol at the center. Obviously, Shao Kahn said with a smirk, knowing his physique was intimidating. I'm sorry if I stated the obvious, but I've never seen anyone like you before. Or even this very place I'm in now, Naruto said as he stood up and looked up at the man with a puzzled expression. One of my agents discovered you being attacked and brought you here to be healed, said the Emperor of Outworld as a female servant dressed in clothes that would have given a certain Toad-san a nosebleed entered the room with clothing for Naruto to wear before leaving. Oh, thank you very much. So, where exactly am I? Naruto said this while getting dressed behind a portable screen in black combat boots, black pants with a red sash, and a red armband with a black outline of a dragon on it. We have arrived in the Outworld realm. Please follow me, answered the man before leaving the room, never stopping as he walked through the palace, Naruto close behind. What are you saying now? Naruto yelped frantically, unable to believe what he was hearing, and saw Shao Kahn turn to face him. There are more dimensions out there, you see. Earthrealm is one of them. It's your world, said the Emperor, who despised the fact that the boy was born in Earthrealm. Earthrealm? Naruto continued to be perplexed. Yes, there is Earthrealm, Hell, the Netherrealm, Heaven, Limbo, Edenia, Outworld, and hundreds of other worlds that have been joined with Outworld. Shao Kahn said this before entering the throne room, where Sauters and servants of all ranks bowed to the two of them. So you're saying there are 1,000 different worlds out there, and I'm in one of them right now? Naruto inquired, his mind having been blown, as it should have been given this information. Yes, my agent Reptile, who saved you from the attack, told me you're in a tournament and I'd like to help you win. How about I prepare you for these Chunin exams, as Reptile mentioned? Shao Kahn said, while Naruto was ecstatic about the offer. And what could you possibly teach me? Naruto inquired, his brow furrowed. However, Naruto was taken aback when the man simply vanished from right in front of him, like a ghost. And the boy began to look around, trying to locate the man before he felt hands on his shoulders and was taken aback to see the giant of a man standing right behind him with a smirk on his aged face. For starters, I can teach you how to do it. Shao Kahn knew the boy would benefit from a visual aid-based teacher. Educate me, educate me, educate me, educate me. As he looked at the man with stars in his eyes, Naruto yelled, chanted, "Ha, ha, ha, that's great. Please follow me." The Emperor laughed as he turned around and walked towards his home's inner sanctum, with Naruto quickly following him before a portal of sorts opened and the two walked through it. When Naruto emerged on the other side of the portal, he was taken aback by his new surroundings, which were possibly twice, if not 3 times, the size of the one Konoha had, and were filled with violent-looking areas meant to cause intense physical pain and suffering to all who dared to set foot in them. This place had large creatures chained down, watched over by their trainers, and other kinds of beings now entering the abyss. Where are we in the world? Naruto inquired. We've arrived in my domain. Only the best Outworld warriors fight, die, and if they are strong enough live to fight again. We'll be here for a while to get you ready for your tournament. With a smirk on his masked face, the regal warlord said. Really? Naruto inquired, and the Emperor nodded. Given your current health, lack of proper training, and teacher, it will take exactly 1 year to repair the damage done to you, the warlord said in front of the boy. What? But the Chunin exam finals are only a month away, not a year. Naruto screamed at the man, who just laughed and pretended it was nothing. Don't worry, young man. That's the beauty of Outworld. 1 year here is equal to 1 month in Earthrealm, and you'll return in that time to compete in your tournament, Shao Kahn exclaimed after laughing at Naruto's response. So, basically, I can get a whole year's worth of training done in the space of 1 month back home? Naruto asked, his mouth wide open in wonder. Yes, Shao Kahn replied, seeing the boy's eyes light up. Fucking awesome, he said with a devilish grin, while Shao Kahn smirked and laughed at his reaction. Reminds me of myself when I was that age, Shao Kahn thought, seeing a lot of himself in the boy. Look out, Konoha, you wanted a demon, well you're going to get one, and he's not going to be the nice guy anymore, thought Naruto, knowing that his chances of beating Neji had just increased. I'm glad to see you're in such a good mood, the Emperor said with a small chuckle. When this is over, who am I going to unleash my newfound power on? Yes, I'm in a good mood. Shao Kahn smirked as Naruto said this. That seal on you was having problems working earlier because a new yet crude seal was placed over it, and it had to be removed. Whatever energy you had before that has been restored, and you can now fight with all the power you have, said the emperor, shocked that the boy knew about the Biju and that another seal was on him. So that's what that gay snake did, Naruto thought as he placed a hand where the seal his father had placed on him had now revealed itself from his touch. Now, on to business, Shao Kahn began, but was cut off by the boy. Wait, exclaimed Naruto. What? Shao Kahn asked, his patience dwindling. You never told me your name, sir, Naruto inquired. As Naruto asked this question, an evil gleam appeared in the old man's eye. He then began to chuckle, which quickly turned into full-fledged maniacal laughter. At the same time, he manages to look terrifying and scare the shite out of Naruto. The old man finally calmed down before turning to face Naruto with an evil grin. I didn't tell you, huh? Well, listen up, boy, because I'll only say this once, the man said before clearing his throat. I am the defier of the elder gods. I am the slayer of the dragon king Onaga. I am the emperor of Outworld. I am Shao Kahn the Conqueror, and I am above all things. Your forefather, yelled Shao Kahn. What in the world have I gotten myself into? Naruto thought nervously, but excitedly, before the last part entered his mind. And then I fainted. The year was going to be long. It was a beautiful day in Leaf Village. The sun's rays fell on the village, casting bright streams of light through the many trees that gave the village its name. Children were seen playing in the streets, and teenagers and adults of all ages and genders were seen shopping, all while birds sang above them. Shinobi, civilians, nobles, and commoners alike could be heard cheering all over Hidden Leaf Village as they gathered to watch the Chunin exam finals. Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but be pleased with the turnout as he sat in the cage booth, looking out over the village. Members of the newly dubbed Konoha 12, which included members of the newly famed Rookie 9, as well as Team Guy members who hadn't made it to the finals, sat in one section of the stands. The name was given to them because of all the Konoha genin who had been placed in the Chunin exams, all 27 teams. The 4 rookie teams passed the second stage and advanced to the preliminary rounds. The Jounin senseis of the teams, -1, sat with them, each proudly looking down at the students who had made it past the prelims. 7 figures could be seen standing in a line facing the cage booth on the arena floor. 6 of those figures were the genin about to compete in their matches: Aburame Shino, Hyuga Neji, Nara Shikamaru, Sabaku no Gara, Sabaku no Temari, and Sabaku no Kankuro, with the Jounin proctoring this match being the last member. Shiranui Genma, the proctor, had dark brown hair that reached his neck and brown eyes. He was dressed in the standard Jounin outfit of dark blue pants and a long-sleeve blue shirt, with his Jounin flak jacket layered over it. Sarutobi frowned as he noticed that 3 ninja, Kinuta Dasu, Uchiha Sasuke, and Naruto Uzumaki Dasu was dead, his body discovered by his ANBU just the night before, and Uchiha Sasuke was with Kakashi, so it was a given that he would either arrive late or arrive late. However, the fact that Naruto was not standing there was concerning. He knew the blonde would never pass up an opportunity like this. Sarutobi couldn't help but wonder what happened to him. Sir, there is still no sign of Uchiha Sasuke, but we have a few squads looking for him, a Jounin said before bending over to whisper into his cage's ear. I see, Sandame said simply. Sir ... Do you believe Orochimaru has already gotten to the boy? Inquired the man. The Sandame didn't show his emotions to his subordinate, with decades of ninja experience. He had mastered the art of keeping his face emotionless. However, the possibility that Orochimaru had already gotten his hands on Sasuke was concerning. The boy had been with Kakashi, and while Sarutobi intended to confront the man about his favoritism with his squad, the Sharingan-wielding Jounin was still one of his best shinobi. However, before he could respond to the Jounin's words, he noticed a pair of white and blue robes out of the corner of his eye. When he saw them, he turned to greet the approaching Kasuke. Kasuke Dono, you must be tired from your long journey, he said warmly. Not at all, the man replied calmly as he sat down. Though it's a good thing the exams were held here this time. The trip may have been too much for you Hokage-sama while you're still young. Perhaps it's time you choose a 5th Hokage, said the Kasuke, while Sarutobi laughed heartily and waved the man's comments away. Please don't treat me like an old man. The fire in me still burns as brightly as it did 20 years ago, and I've got a few more years before I need to find a successor, the Sandame said, looking down at the contestants. It appears we have 2 missing, said the Kasuke as he took his seat, his gaze roving over to the field, and the Sandame nodded solemnly. Thank you for coming. I'd like to welcome you all to Konoha's Chunin exam. Finals. We will now begin the main tournament between the 10 participants who made it through the preliminaries, said Sarutobi, standing up. As the Hokage finished his announcement, the audience began to applaud. Sarutobi nodded at Genma, who turned to face the contestants. I'm the finals proctor. My name is Shiranui Genma, and you all know who you're up against, correct? Everyone nodded and looked around. This is the lineup for the main matches, Shiranui Genma said, holding up a sheet of paper with the schedule on it. What a change of pace with me fighting a girl, Shikamaru sarcastically thought. Joy is me, because he didn't want to fight girls. As you can see, there will be 5 matches in the first round. While the arena is different, the same rules apply as in the preliminary round. Any questions? Said Genma, looking at the current contestants. Nobody said anything as Genma began the exams. Would Uzumaki Naruto and Hyuga Neji please step forward? And all other contestants please proceed to the fighter's booth. Sasuke-kun isn't here. Neither is Naruto, Ino said, sitting beside her best friend turned enemy. Who cares? He's not going to be able to beat Neji, and now he's a genius like Sasuke-kun, Sakura sneered. But Sakura you're that's own teammate. Have some faith in him, said Ino, irritated by Sakura's casual dismissal of Naruto, and hoping Neji would hurt the fellow blonde. The day I believe in that baka is the day hell freezes over, Sakura stated simply. Yugao, Heiate, Kurenai, Anko, Hana, and Asuma sat in the crowd, watching the action. Kakashi was late with his student, but no one cared after hearing how the Jounin blew Naruto off to personally train the Uchiha. This fight is going to be a lot of fun, exclaimed Anko. Kurenai smiled at her best friend. Yes, I agree. So, who do you think will win this fight? Heiate asked, coughing. I'm afraid it's going to be the Hyuga, which is a shame because I know the Uzumaki Gaki is looking to avenge the Hyuga heiress after what happened in the prelims, Yugao replied. Well, you never know. Uzumaki Naruto is known for surprises, and he just might pull off an upset, throwing everyone for a loop, Asuma said, knowing Naruto's history with surprises. Shall we all see? Hana interjected, eager to see the fight. Floor of the arena. HMPH. Looks like the loser decided not to show up after all. Not that it would have made any difference, he was fated to lose today. And the next day, sneered Neji, thinking his victory would only bring Hinata down further. He was silenced, however, when he heard a strange sound behind him and turned with wide eyes to see what it was. They noticed a large, circular, orange portal open, as well as the sound of heavy ground-shaking footsteps coming from the portal entrance, with the shadow of the figure coming from it revealed to the light. So, you decided to show up after all. Huh, Luz said Neji, pausing to take in the appearance of the person approaching him in Genma. Is that you, Naruto Uzumaki? Thought the Jounin proctor as he pondered whether he needed his eyes checked or if he was in the Twilight Zone. The 4-3 orange-loving knucklehead of a ninja had vanished, replaced by a whole new warrior. This boy, no, man standing at an impressive 5'7", his spiky blonde hair now down to his shoulders and held back by a ponytail. He'd gone from scrawny to ripped, with muscles bulging everywhere. He was shirtless, with black X-shaped leather running across his torso, and a dragon emblem holding it all together in the middle. He was dressed in black ANBU-style pants with a dark red belt, black combat boots, dark red shin and forearm guards with jagged edge greaves, black gauntlets stained in dried blood, and a Konoha headband that hung loosely around his neck. Naruto appeared to have a dragon emblem tattooed on his left pectoral. The dragon was a metallic gray with a black circle around it, looking menacing in the sunlight. They only recognized Naruto because his whisker marks on his cheeks were thicker than usual, as his usual spiky blonde hair was covered by a metal helmet with a bone-like front that protected the upper part of his face, and his blue eyes had turned crimson red with slit pupils. The crowd, and especially everyone from Konoha, fell silent at his new appearance. The only reason they recognized this new person as Naruto Uzumaki was because of his blonde spiky hair, and the 3 whisker marks on each cheek. For a brief moment, the stadium was deafeningly quiet. Then, with a few simple words they spoke and thought, it erupted into sound. What the fuck? I thought he was supposed to be some scrawny-looking idiot wearing Kill Me Orange. No. Oh my Kami, he's so sexy, exclaimed a woman who wasn't from Konoha. What happened to the brat? Inquired a leaf shinobi of Chunin rank. Do you think it was the fox? A civilian asked another. This appeared to be the collective thought of everyone in the stadium. Is that Naruto? Ino exclaimed as she saw the new and improved version of the blonde knucklehead. Sakura was staring as well, but she was in denial. She was trying to persuade herself that no one could look better than her Sasuke. Choji had stopped chewing and was staring at Naruto. Chiba was grinning. He had a feeling the fight with Neji would be extremely brutal. Hinata was currently holding her nose to prevent a massive nosebleed from erupting if she saw Naruto's muscles. Temari was staring at Naruto in the arena, trying to hold her own with less noticeable effort. Wow, in less than a month, this kid went from loudmouth squirt to hot stud. I hope he's still available. Hubba, she thought, her face flushed. So Temari has a thing for him. Material for blackmail, Kankuro thought, noting his sister's expression and grinning, knowing he could use this as blackmail material later. Shikamaru's eyes were wide, but he managed to keep them open. But he still had that bored expression on his face. Troublesome, he exclaimed, knowing Naruto's expression was in the dictionary when it came to the term. Perhaps he can help me prove my existence, Gaara thought as he stared at the blonde with a sadistic smile. Shino wondered what had happened to the boy to cause him to change so drastically in such a short period of time. He was also wondering how he was able to do that when he entered the arena. Floor of the arena. And Naruto Uzumaki, Genma stuttered, asked, as surprised as the rest of them. Naruto simply nodded to Genma, his gaze fixed on a still stunned Neji. Damn boy, have you been hitting those weights? Laughed the proctor. And those steroids, apparently, many of the Jounin senseis in the stands thought. Naruto simply laughed. So the dead last finally decided to show up, Neji remarked sarcastically, finally coming out of his stupor. Don't you realize that no matter what you do or how you appear, you will still lose? Because fate has decreed that I will win today. Naruto simply stared at him as if he were a bug, which he was in Naruto's opinion. The match between Neji Hyuga and Naruto Uzumaki begins now, Genma smirked. Genma then decided to flee because he had a feeling this was going to be a difficult day. The remaining contestants filed out of the arena and up to the fighter's box. Chunin, Kotsu and Izumo sat in the stands and watched the game. The kid's come a long way, Izumo stated simply. Yeah, Kotsu agreed, but is the kid strong enough to take on the Hyuga clan's prodigy? Neji faced Naruto in the arena and crossed his arms. Give up now, he said. There is no way you can defy fate. And when he didn't get a response, Neji scowled at Naruto. Are you listening to me? Neji asked, while Naruto remained silent, stalking Neji like a predator stalks its prey. While his thoughts wandered back to his training with Shao Kahn and the power he wielded to bring his legacy to this point, as well as the truth of his heritage. A heritage that had been forged for centuries, if not millennia, but was denied due to a fearful god seeking to usurp evil and his descendants. Again, exclaimed Shao Kahn, seeing his son's long-line descendant brutally fighting a small army of Tarkatan demons and succeeding admirably. After a combination of Shao Kahn's own power-fused Kyuubi with Naruto, which wasn't the most pleasant thing given the memories of the fox, and the growing of Naruto's body structure, the boy had gone on a much more nutritional diet. It had been a very painful ordeal, which was saying a lot given Naruto's previous experience with pain, and he couldn't keep the screams from coming out of his mouth. When it was finished, Naruto was bedridden for a week, his body's abilities were reset, and the next month in Outworld was spent relearning how to use it. Though if there was one thing in Uzumaki with the ancient bloodline of Emperor Shao Kahn had going for him, it was his ability to learn quickly, which was essential in Outworld. When Naruto was told that the Elder God Raiden had set things in motion for the Sandaime Hokage's abuse at the hands of the village and stunted his growth simply because of the fear of some kind of prophecy. Well, the boy was enraged. He was furious that several soldiers were subjected to Naruto's wrath. Shao Kahn went on to explain how the Elder God's rules allowed Naruto to travel from Outworld to Earthrealm without their interference, so the blonde could pay a visit whenever she wanted and even seek Shao Kahn's advice on matters because he was still young. If the Elder Gods attempted anything, the laws they established would be shattered, giving the Emperor of Outworld the right to invade Earthrealm, if not demand a restart of the Mortal Kombat tournaments to decide the fate of all realms. The end result of Naruto training allowed the boy to gain a lot of muscle on his body, which led to his 1 year of training in Outworld, which made many of the female servants blush and look at him with lust. A fact Shao Kahn would occasionally bring up in front of Naruto, and the Uzumaki, taking pride in making the female gender weak in the knees. While muscle was a given with all the training, Naruto also developed in human agility as a result of Shao Kahn's painful teaching methods for him to avoid, and Kyuubi's fox-like agility to outmaneuver others in a pinch. Is there anyone else for me to take down my forefather? Said Naruto, as Shao Kahn smirked and snapped his fingers from the throne. Goro, Kintaro, Shiba, yelled Shao Kahn as the Shokan trio prepared to fight the Uzumaki. I had to ask, Naruto said before the Shokan attacked him and killed him. Neji simply smirked and activated his Byakugan, thinking his opponent was scared. Don't want to talk. Fine, let's get this beating started, he smirked. Hanabi, keep an eye on her. Hayashi Hyuga, the patriarch of the Hyuga clan, warned his youngest daughter. Why? Hanabi asked, staring at the shinobi monster in front of her cousin. There is no other Hyuga with blood thicker than Neji's. He is a true Hyuga prodigy, Hayashi said, despite his own fear. The young girl simply nodded, indicating that she was paying attention. She stood there, curious to see if the boy could actually fight. In the arena, Neji charged at Naruto, who stood there unafraid of being hit by the Hyuga clan's infamous taijutsu. Just as Neji was about to strike him, he moved to the left and backhanded the Hyuga away from him at a speed that even Neji couldn't track with his Byakugan eyes. Neji rolled about 10 feet away from Naruto before coming to a halt, and rapidly rising to his feet in shock. What in the world was that? Neji reflected as he nursed the right side of his face. When he fought the Inuzuka, he wasn't anywhere near that strong or fast. 1 month of training should not have resulted in him having this much power. Well, these were the collective thoughts of everyone who knew Naruto, and knew he wasn't this strong a month ago. So it appears you've gotten a little bit better since your last fight. But it doesn't matter because you'll still lose to me like my useless cousin did in the Chunin exam prelims. Taunted the Hyuga as he cautiously stepped towards Uzumaki, seeing him unaffected by the comment. However, it still doesn't mean anything. Neji charged at Naruto, unleashing a volley of Juken strikes. He grew frustrated as Naruto simply dodged and deflected all of his blows. Holy shit. This is the kid who used to go around in an orange jumpsuit shouting about how he was going to be Hokage one day. Izumo exclaimed. He might be able to do it. Kotsu added. Hanabi was currently staring at Naruto from the stands. She had been taught that power was everything, and it was now revealing itself. Got him, Nit, stand still so I can hit you, yelled an enraged Neji, while Naruto simply laughed at the Hyuga as he danced around the Juken strikes. Neji had a small victory when he finally managed to nail Naruto in the left arm. However, triumph was short-lived as Naruto used the same arm to punch Neji across the face, sending him flying back 15 feet. The stadium was shocked once more when the supposed dead last loser struck the Hyuga prodigy. Really, Neji? Is this the best you have to offer? How disappointing. Naruto finally spoke, shocking everyone with his now deep voice as he smirked at the Hyuga and saw Neji turn red in the face upon hearing him comment. Disappointing. 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 I'll show you a fucking disappointment, yelled the enraged Hyuga as he shifted into a new stance that had many Hyuga clan members in the audience gasping in surprise. You're within my margin of error. He then charged straight at Naruto. If he had a clear head instead of an angry one, he would have noticed Naruto's lack of movement and allowed Neji to get within striking distance. 8 trigrams 64 palms, exclaimed Neji as he began closing all of Naruto's chakra points with his clan's prized skill. If he had paid attention, he would have noticed that Naruto did not even flinch when Neji launched his attack, nor did he move an inch from his position. What the hell has Naruto been up to for the past month? Inquired a perplexed Kiba. That's what I want to know, Sakura thought, while her rage at the blonde's strength infuriated her even more because she felt Sasuke should be the one with this power, not the monster fighting Neji. He's taking all of those Juken strikes like they're nothing. Hey Hinata, can you check and see if Neji is closing any of Naruto's chakra points? Kiba asked, knowing that his own teammate could see what was going on. Hi, gasped the shy Hyuga heiress as she activated her Byakugan. What do you see? Ino asked, seeing Hinata staring intently at Naruto. Amazing NNG. Neji Nai Chakra Sense hasn't even scratched any of Naruto Chakra Kun's points, she exclaimed, much to everyone's surprise and disbelief. Sakura sneered at Hinata. Bullshit. What? Ino was taken aback by Sakura's continued thrashing of Naruto in this fight. Your Byakugan must have a flaw. There is no way in hell that Baka can withstand all of those hits. He must be cheating in some way, stupid Naru Baka, said Sakura, while Hinata ignored the dumb fangirl as she looked away from where Neji was striking Naruto with his Juken strikes and allowed her X-ray vision eyes to travel a little further south on the body of her crush. My, HES so big, she thought as she passed out, blood dripping down her nose. Hinata, what happened? Why'd she collapse? A frantic Kiba wondered as he saw his teammate, Crush, knocked out in her chair, blood leaking from her nose and a perverted smile on her face. Wow, what the hell? A tired Neji exclaimed as he finished his assault. How come none of your chakra points have closed? Is that it? I ask, honestly. Was pathetic? Asked a bored Naruto as he stared at Neji, shocked at first before becoming enraged. This isn't possible. He should be weak. Pathetic. A commoner in his truest form. So how is it possible he's doing this? Gritted Neji's teeth as this commoner mocked him. A member of Konoha's strongest clan, the Hyuga clan. Since you're starting to bore me, Naruto sighed, immediately putting Neji on the defensive. I guess I'll go on the offensive now instead of defensive. Neji didn't have time to react as Naruto suddenly vanished from where he was and appeared directly in front of him. He was knocked up in the air as Naruto hit him with an uppercut. But before he could fly away, Naruto quickly grabbed him by the ankle, turned around, and slammed Neji face first into the ground so hard that the ground created spider web cracks, causing many in the crowd to cringe. Wham, 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 wham. Finally, after the 31st punch to the sternum, Naruto threw Neji high up in the air, and everyone saw his nearly broken body. As he was coming down, Naruto's body was surrounded by a mysterious red aura as he flew up in the air, and kneed Neji in the jaw, or what Shao Kahn called the uplifting knee strike during their training together. It was brutal. Genin, you have their Hokage dono. I must say that his ruthless fighting ability rivals Gaara's, remarked the Kazekage, pausing to find the appropriate word for what he had just witnessed. Since when the hell was the Kyuubi child this powerful? I might have to get rid of him before he becomes a thorn in my side, Orochimaru thought as he witnessed the Kyuubi Jinchuriki's brutality on the Hyuga boy. Well. He's not usually like that, a perplexed Sarutobi explained. I feared as much. Something happened in the last month. Did Jiraiya train him? Or was it something I did to the Yondame's seal? Orochimaru pondered as he watched the one-sided fight play out. Why has Naruto-kun changed so much? And what was that chakra technique? Normal chakra is blue, and that couldn't have been Kyuubi's chakra even if it was red. He should have access to it despite Kakashi's report about Wave Country, and I sure as hell know that wasn't medical chakra, thought the Sandame as he saw Naruto run over Neji with his power. Blargh. Puked Choji after witnessing one of the most heinous acts of brutality he had ever witnessed. Shikamaru just stood there, wide eyes and gaping mouth. No one could tell if Shina was upset or not, but if you looked closely, you could see sweat dripping down his brow. The rest of the Genin fell silent. My god. Suma's words summed up exactly what the Jounin and Chunin were thinking. With the exception of one. I believe I quote am in love, yelled an extremely aroused Anko, her eyes filled with tears as she gazed upon Naruto and all of the blood he had spilled. That was one of the most sadistic and bloody things Anko had seen in a long time, and Anko absolutely adored bloody and sadistic things. Right now, Anko's list of Konoha men she was interested in had been narrowed down to one, and he was currently at the top of the list while competing in the arena below. Neji Aniki, mumbled a terrified, teary-eyed Hanabi, who had just witnessed an older brother being beaten to a bloody pulp. And the fact that she's only 10 years old implies that someone has been traumatized for life. No, Hayashi said quietly as he watched his brother's son, his nephew, struggle to stand while coughing up blood. Floor of the arena. Holy shit, exclaimed Genma, debating whether to call a halt to the match before Naruto killed Neji. He couldn't, though, because the Hyuga was still awake and had finally stood up. You should leave right now, Hyuga, before your injuries worsen, Naruto said, looking at Neji's broken, but determined, form standing 20 feet away from him, and seeing the boy trying not to wobble. And no CH chance in H hell. I'm not going to T to just QQ quit because of a few shattered ribs. It is my FF fate to win this F fight, Neji said weakly as he coughed up blood, sliding into a Juken stance. This earned him some respect from many people, including Naruto, though it was a minor boost. While I applaud your resolve, which I do not take lightly, I have work to do and a certain Uchiha to demolish. So, if you don't mind, I'll end this right now, the Uzumaki said as he flipped through a few hand seals. The majority of the Konoha shinobi population recognized hand signs. Fire release, magnificent fireball technique, Naruto said as he hurled a beach ball-sized fireball at Neji. Several members of the audience cried out in fear as the fireball approached Neji's still form, but they were quickly calmed when Neji began to move. Palm rotation of the 8 trigrams, cried Neji, spinning in a circle, and a large dome of chakra sprouted around him, deflecting the fireball at the last second and sending it into the sky, where it dissipated the further it got. Many members of the audience were surprised to see that Neji still had enough energy to perform jutsu. Those who were most surprised were the members of the Hyuga clan. How often do you see a member of the cadet branch perform a main branch technique? They were, and none more so than Hayashi. Neji, you've come so far without anyone's help, especially mine. What kind of uncle am I when I can't even help out my own nephew? Reflected the Hyuga patriarch, looking at his deceased brother's only child. Neji, you're amazing. In terms of the Hyuga clan, you truly are a prodigy worth mentioning. However, as I previously stated, I need to finish this quickly so that I can save my energy and fight someone much stronger than you. applauded Naruto with nothing but honesty in his voice, shocking many in the crowd who wondered who had more strength than Neji. As he finished speaking, Naruto's body was surrounded by the familiar yet still foreign red energy as he rushed towards Neji and shoulder-rammed him, knocking the Hyuga down to the ground and knocking him unconscious. The first match was won by Uzumaki Naruto. Genma yelled, still unable to believe that the kid walking away from the fight was Uzumaki Naruto. They were stunned, shocked in disbelief. The crowd was dead silent, deathly silent. As the medic Nin came out to retrieve Neji, they were stunned to see Naruto pick him up and carry him over to the stretcher, where the medics then took him to the medical room. This act of selflessness jolted the crowd awake, as he slowly received a very reluctant applause from those born in Konoha, as well as those who despised him, before it burst into a thunderous roar of clapping, and finally the cheering from the "He actually won!" exclaimed Ino. Sekiro was completely silent, trying to make sense of the fact that the dead last had just beaten last year's Rookie of the Year, and advanced to the next round. It was simply impossible in her mind that this could have happened. It shouldn't have happened. That didn't happen. There's no way Naruto is this strong. It has to be a Jinjutsu. Yeah, that's it, a Jinjutsu made by the dumb baka, thought Sakura as she watched Naruto walk to the fighter's box. Kiba smirked, relieved that Naruto had defeated Neji, as he had previously been humiliated by Naruto's defeat. Hinata, on the other hand, was still in her own perverted world of unconsciousness. What are your thoughts? Kotsu inquired of his companion. I believe Neji deserves a promotion for his ability to stand and fight after taking such a brutal beating. As for Naruto, we might as well hand him his Chunin vest right now, Izumo replied. Chunin? Huh? This kid just dominated a fight against a prodigy from Konoha's most powerful clan. And he graduated dead last and has only been a genin for a year. They should just give this kid his Jounin vest right now. Asuma, who was listening in on their conversation and knew this kid was way above Chunin rank, said. The two nodded to each other, admitting that even though Naruto had only done a few things, they were all quite impressive, and they decided that Naruto would be one of those promoted to Chunin, and they couldn't wait to see what this kid could do during the Jounin exam, which they were very much looking forward to. The Hyuga Council was thinking something along the lines of trying to get Naruto married into the clan so that they could obtain that powerful green aura, and were trying to think of a way to marry him off to Hanabi, or another Hyuga main branch female. Hayashi, on the other hand, knew what they were thinking, and he didn't like it. Naruto approached the fighter's box and was immediately besieged by the others who were staring at him in awe, fear, and, in Temari's case, lust. How did you get so strong, Naruto? Shikamaru inquired. The answer, Shikamaru, is nothing to do with your motherfucking business. Naruto yelled before laughing, as they all collapsed in shock from his outburst after they leaned forward to hear him and saw their sweat drop. Troublesome blonde, Shikamaru muttered as he rose from the floor and rubbed his brow. Hey, I wouldn't be me if I wasn't troublesome, Shikamaru. Naruto chuckled as the next match began. It was time for the fight between Uchiha Sasuke and Sabaku no Gaara. The issue was that Uchiha Sasuke was still nowhere to be found. I guess I have no choice but to disqualify Sasuke for not showing up, the Hokage said, looking over at Naruto, whose presence made the old Kage nervous. Perhaps you should wait and postpone the match until later, Hokage-sama. The people did come to see the boy and my son compete in this anticipated battle of the titans that are our best genin of our respected shinobi villages, said the Kazekage, as the Sandaime narrowed his eyes at him before thinking about it. That's excellent. These two would face off in the spirit of competition, and to help further our good relations, I'm willing to postpone the match, said the Sandaime before giving the order, while Naruto and Gaara frowned in displeasure upon hearing Genma make the announcement. If I had been 1 second late, they would have called for my immediate disqualification, as well as a slew of other sanctions. Naruto said more to himself than to anyone else. How come you? Temari said as Naruto looked at her, causing all kinds of emotions to run through her body. It's because I'm a Jinchuriki. Like him, Naruto said, pointing to Gaara. Which one is it? Gaara said before Temari could respond. Kyuubi, Naruto said simply, Gaara's eyes widening. And Shukaku was no doubt in his head telling him to stay the hell away from him. Now I see. That explains the whispers I've heard about you and why they were hoping you'd lose at the hands of the Hyuga, Temari said, seeing Naruto chuckle. I'm not surprised at all. Unlike your brother, the Leaf Village didn't want a weapon with the power to fight them if they wanted to vent their anger, and they had no problem making my life miserable from day one, Naruto said as Genma summoned Kankuro and Shino to fight. I give up, said Kankuro, knowing that if he fought Shino now, the invasion plan would go up in smoke. Would you please bring Sabaku no Temari and Nara Shikamaru down to the arena floor? Your match begins now, Genma said, as Temari dashed down the stairs, waiting for her opponent to appear. Troublesome. First it was Naruto's new appearance, and now this. I'm going to forfeit, Shikamaru said before being lifted from his position and thrown to the arena floor below. Crash. You can thank me later, Naruto said as Shikamaru grumbled and picked himself up off the ground. That blonde. People with blonde hair are a pain. First, Ino was my teammate, then Naruto, and now the one from Suna is my exam opponent. I swear Kami prefers blonde-haired people over me, Shikamaru said as he rose from the ground and noticed Temari was preparing for a fight. Just for that, I'm going to beat the laziness right out of you, and then I'm going to ask Naruto-kun out on a date, Temari said, surrounded by several girls with killer intent. Oh, she didn't just say that, exclaimed several people, staring at Suna's blonde kunoichi. Fight, said Genma, as Temari moved quickly to complete this in at least one move. Oh my goodness, Shikamaru said as he underestimated Temari's speed and narrowly avoided being hit by her iron fan. Coward, stand your ground and fight, Temari said as she continued to use her iron fan as a blunt object, and Shikamaru was fleeing while having flashbacks of his father doing the same thing when mom was in one of her moods. So this is what he goes through all the time, Shikamaru thought before tripping on a rock and looking back to see Temari leap in the air with her iron fan coming down on him. Take it, yelled Temari, his life flashing before Shikamaru's eyes. With my last breath, I just want to say, troublesome, Shikamaru said as the blunt object approached his head. Smash. The winner is Sabaku no Temari. Genma winced as he saw Shikamaru twitch from the blow to the head, and was surprised the girl's weapon didn't have an imprint of Nara's face on it. And yet, the boy was still alive, albeit unconscious. Perfect victory. With a grin on his face, Naruto said, no way. Will Sabaku no Gaara and Uchiha Sasuke appear on the field? It's time to start your match, Genma said as Shikamaru was carted away, and Temari went up to the fighter's box. So, about that date, Temari slyly said, her finger moving around the Uzumaki's chest muscles and eep, when he suddenly grabbed her backside and pulled her towards him. What exactly do I get if I say yes? Says Naruto, seeing Temari squirming a little while his hand remained firmly on the kunoichi's rear, and it increased when her crotch rubbed up against his own. I'll think of something, Temari said in a slightly squeaky voice, while Naruto just grinned even more madly. I'll hold you to that, Temari-chan, Naruto said before letting her go, as the now agitated and aroused woman tried to concentrate on the arena. He couldn't do anything with that weapon hidden in his pants. Meanwhile, the match below was like history repeating itself, as Gaara had appeared on the arena floor but Uchiha Sasuke had not, which did not sit well with the future clients and daimyos watching from the stands. Some people were booing the Uchiha for not showing, while many Konoha-born people were concerned something had happened to the boy and others suspected Naruto had a hand in it. In any case, not legally. Uchiha Sasuke is not present and thus disqualified. Sabaku no Gaara is the match winner. Will Aburame Shino and Uzumaki Naruto come down to the arena floor? Genma wondered, having waited long enough for Sasuke to arrive for his match. Looks like we're up, Shino, Naruto said with a pensive expression on his face. I forfeit, Shino said, knowing it was only natural for him to do so at this point. His insects weren't going to stand a chance against Naruto's power, and who knows what else the Uzumaki had up his sleeve. Smart man, Naruto said as he noticed Temari looking at her brother while waiting for a match. I'm going to forfeit as well. My brother is not afraid to kill a member of his family, Temari explained, with Naruto nodding in agreement. Oh, that's fantastic. Fine. Will Sabaku no Gaara and Uzumaki Naruto come down here to face each other? Genma sighed, hoping no one else would forfeit. Showtime, said Naruto before leaping from the fighter's box and landing loudly on the ground, causing a crater and shaking the stadium. You will prove my existence and die regardless of your power, Gaara grinned, his blood rushing through him faster than it had in a long time. Of course, the fight between them was interrupted when Uchiha Sasuke arrived, followed by Hadake Kakashi in a swirl of leaves, though in comparison to Naruto's entrance, they looked kind of bland and boring in a way that no one really said wow when they saw them. Are we running late? Said Kakashi with a used smile on his unmasked face, and Genma simply sighed at the man. Not only are you late, but Sasuke's match was postponed, and when you didn't show up with him for his second chance, I had to disqualify the Uchiha, Genma said, seeing how surprised both Sasuke and Kakashi were. Kakashi was stunned, but Sasuke was enraged, and the Uchiha appeared ready to kill someone. Well, at least my loser teammate didn't advance in his match against Neji. I bet the Hyuga hurt that pathetic excuse for a shinobi so much that he cried and pissed himself. Sasuke chuckled cruelly, only to be surpassed by a cruel laugh from a helmeted figure, and the burning crimson eyes that made the hairs on Kakashi's back stand up. You'd lose that bet, Uchiha. Neji fell in battle by my hands. Painfully, I might add, Naruto said, as Sasuke stared in disbelief. Naruto, said Kakashi, while Naruto grinned even more, his fangs showing. Impossible. You are not that dead last loser, Sasuke said, seeing what Naruto had become and feeling rightfully his own power. If you're so sure, back it up and take me down yourself, Sasuke, Naruto said as the Uchiha charged forward blindly and punched him in the stomach, only to scream in agony. HHH, yelled Sasuke, clutching his now broken right hand and hearing Naruto laugh. Stupid Uchiha, your strength, what little of it you had, has failed, and you are no longer even remotely close to my league, Naruto said, his arms crossed in front of him. Stop talking. I don't care what level of power you have. I will always be superior to you, loser. This village will always prefer me over your worthless self every time. My finger is worth more than your entire body, Sasuke said, while Naruto just smirked at him. Is that correct? Naruto said, his grin stretching from one ear to the next. Without a doubt, said Sasuke, as Kakashi stared in disbelief at what had become of Naruto. Then let's put your theory to the test, Naruto said before his body glowed red for a second and a shoulder strike at Uchiha sent the boy through the stadium wall. Sasuke, said Kakashi, staring at Naruto. Looks like you were wrong about me being a weak and pathetic headache. What did you say? You didn't want to jeopardize your reputation by teaching someone with no talent like myself. That I'd lose to Hyuga Neji and thus not be worth your time. I'm in the final round of the Chunin exam finals. I crushed my opponent without your help, so Khaled-sensei, and after today, I won't need any of your so-called training after this tournament is over. Naruto laughed cruelly, echoing throughout the stadium. What exactly do you mean by that? You are a genin unless promoted to Chunin by the Hokage himself, Kakashi said, while Naruto just grinned and looked back at the Sandaime. Him, with his title, he may portray himself as a dragon, but that man is really simply a toothless worm, says Naruto, seeing Kakashi's shocked expression and everyone else hearing it. How dare you offend the Sandaime, said Kakashi as an explosion rang out in the cage's booth and throughout the village. I'm going to do more than just insult the old man verbally. Headache. I'm going to show these weak fools in Konoha my power, and when I do, the village will fear me, not the other way around, said Naruto, as Gaara tried to go along with his part of the plan to awaken Shukaku through the genjutsu that Orochimaru's bespectacled subordinate was unleashing on the stadium. Gaara, hurry up, Temari said, with Kenkuro and Baki covering his flank. Now see what this no-talented shinobi you didn't want to tarnish your reputation Headache can do, Naruto said before forming a light spear and hurling it at Gaara, the red projectile piercing the sand and piercing the red-haired boy's shoulder. Gaara, Temari cried as she saw his sand crumble and her youngest brother bleed from the energy weapon's entry point. It's my blood. I quotem bledy, Gaara yelled frantically, having seen the crimson liquid pouring from his body with his own two eyes. He's all mine, said Kenkuro, bringing out his puppets. But no sooner had they been released were they violently destroyed by Naruto's immense strength, finally punching Suna's puppet master prodigy in the face and sending him flying. We must get Gaara out of here, Baki said, turning to Temari, who nodded and attempted to move her little brother, who was clutching his bleeding shoulder. You are so noble. I'm curious if you're giving that order because you like him as a person or because you like him as a weapon. Naruto grabbed Baki by the throat and lifted him off the ground, he said. How important is it to you? You, too, are a Jinchuriki. Suna was aware of your existence prior to this incident. Why do you believe the Kazekage agreed to go on strike against Konoha? He was well aware of your frailty, that Konoha was a fool to try to keep you under their control by making a weak weapon out of their Jinchuriki, Baki said as Naruto narrowed his eyes at him. Your Kazekage was correct in one respect. Konoha's efforts to keep me under their control were naive. You are correct in that regard, Suna Jounin, but make no mistake, I am far from weak, and the rest of the world will soon find out, Naruto said as he crushed the man's windpipe and threw him away like he was nothing. Looking over at the cage's booth, Naruto noticed a fight between the Hokage and Orochimaru, who was impersonating the Kazekage in order to get close to the old man. In the stands, Suna and Sound Shinobi were fighting the leaf forces that wouldn't fall under the sleep-inducing genjutsu. Grinning at this golden opportunity, Naruto decided to let Temari escape with Gaara and a severely concussed Kenkuro while unleash These Chunin exams are the best ever, Anko said as she killed 2 Suna shinobi with her snakes and 1 sound shinobi with her kunai that pierced his skull. Anko chastised Kurenai, shaking her head at the special Jounin's penchant for violence, and wondered if anyone had the power to tame the insane woman. What? Kir-chan, this is what it's all about. The fighting, the killing, and surviving to see another day, Anko simply stated, with Kurenai looking to say something else. But a mighty battle roar was heard above them, and upon looking up, they saw Uzumaki Naruto descending down on their location with his wrath hammer in his hands, with a dragon symbol on the side. What the hell happened? Kurenai said as she and Anko leaped out of the way before Naruto landed, causing significant damage to the stands. You jerk. You nearly killed us, Anko said, a sour expression on her face. But I didn't do that, did I? Said Naruto before swinging his wrath hammer at Asuna Shinobi, who was quickly followed by a sound shinobi, 2 more of them, and 3 more from Suna who were hit by his weapon. That's not the point, Anko said as she kicked 1 Suna shinobi between the legs and moved to kick Naruto in the groin, until she saw the heap of bodies and blood splatters that surrounded him. No, the point is that you saw me coming your way, dodged, survived, and look sexy killing these weak fools, Naruto said before performing charging spikes and causing the group of shinobi who were hit to become shredded from his jagged armor plating on his body. He's a violent asshole who causes bodily harm to anyone caught in his crosshairs, and no one is safe from him, Anko simply stated as Kurenai and herself witnessed him punch an enemy shinobi in the chest. Kurenai exclaimed as he witnessed Naruto kick another man in the stomach with enough force to send the poor bastard through 3 walls and have a piece of it fall on his head, resulting in the killing blow. And I really want him right now, whined Anko as Kurenai sweated profusely. Also, Anko, we have to defend Konoha right now, Kurenai said, with Anko pouting at first but soon getting into it and defending the village from its enemies. Get out of my way, smacking around everyone and anything in his path to the cage booth, which is currently surrounded by a purple barrier on the tiled building, Naruto said. Look at him go, Asuma said before dispatching 2 Suna shinobi with his 2 trench knives. Yosh, Naruto-san is truly displaying his springtime of youth. Spin kicking a sound shinobi into a nearby wall, Guy said. That's not the only thing he's flaunting, Tenten said, noticing his wrath hammer and his skill with it. As he approached the cage's booth, Naruto noticed the barrier that had been erected by those 4 individuals at each corner, each one hand-picked by Orochimaru to be his bodyguards and loyal to the end of their days depending on their conditioning from his training. What exactly are you doing here? Said Alife NBU captain as his team struggled to find a way through the barrier. Doing your job, you pathetic weakling, Naruto observed as the old man took on the 2 previous Hokages while the Sannin laughed. Until Naruto appeared in the distance. Phew, said Orochimaru, looking down at his weapon of choice. Were you expecting one of the elder gods? Said Naruto before swinging his wrath hammer into the barrier, and shattering the wall he hit. That isn't possible, Orochimaru said as Naruto walked through the massive hole, and the ANBU did the same to help their Hokage in battle. I am Uzumaki Naruto, and I specialize in doing the impossible, Naruto said before creating a light spear and throwing it at the Shodaime Hokage with the literal energy weapon piercing the man's skull before turning the man into ash due to the destruction of the tag in his head. What exactly did you do? Said Orochimaru, surprised that his puppet strings would be cut in such a simple way. You really are dumb for a supposed genius, Naruto said before repeating the process with the Sandaime Hokage's second predecessor to the title. Thank you very much, Naruto. Cried Sandaime as he was punched hard in the face by the very person who had just saved his life, and was as surprised as everyone else. You and I are going to have a long talk about your actions regarding the old man. There is no doubt about it, Naruto said, his eyes red with rage, before turning his full attention to Orochimaru. Retreat, said Orochimaru before fleeing with his bodyguards. Coward, Naruto said as he threw his wrath hammer at the Sannin, striking true in the back and causing him to fall like a stone to the ground. Orochimaru-sama, said one of the Sound 4 with extra limbs that reminded Naruto of the Shaken, though it was clear the man wasn't related to them in any way. The Sound 4 attempted to intercept Naruto, but they were attacked by the senseis of the Rookie 9 and Guy, while the young warrior descendant of Shao Kahn landed in front of the downed Sannin, the impact of the wrath hammer nearly breaking his spine while shattering the bones in his shoulders and to stop any movement in his arms altogether. And try he did. The man's face shot up and shot out a long blade from a sword from his mouth, intent on killing this genin ranked nothing that had ruined everything for him and ruining years of planning his revenge. All the scheming, preparations, and hard work were destroyed in a single day by this Uzumaki brat standing before him. I own your soul, said Naruto, who had been taught the deadly art by Shao Kahn before ripping the man's soul from his body and into his own. While the Sannin screamed in agony, those watching this event, Konoha, Suna, and Sound Shinobi, could only watch in horror as Orochimaru's soul left his body to enter Naruto's, his bodyguards now screaming in pain from the cursed seals burning away at their master's death, and even Anko herself was feeling the failed mark of her former teacher burning away. Orochimaru ... my old student, the Sandaime sobbed, stunned to see Orochimaru's body crumbling and Naruto standing over it. Pathetic, Naruto said, noticing the Sandaime's scowl on his face. Show your respect for Naruto, who is no longer alive. You could at least try, said the Sandaime, while Naruto simply laughed. Me, respect for people like him, like you respected my father's dying wish. I saw the Sandaime flinch at me, Naruto said. How did you find out? How did you learn? Said the Sandaime, scowling and narrowing his eyes at the old cage. It makes no difference how I know. What matters is that everyone in this village is held accountable for their actions against me. Beginning with ... you, said Naruto before he was in the Sandaime's now surprised face and punched the man in the stomach, causing the Hokage to fall to his knees and vomit. And Naruto, I beg ... beg you to stop, said the Sandaime before being lifted up his neck, the sensation of the punch rivaling Tsunade's, and his fight with his former student, as well as the previous two Hokages, had sapped his strength dry. This village's pitiful arrogance and ignorance no longer binds me. You and the rest of them have fought for years to keep me under your control, and deny what is rightfully mine. Not this time, old fool, Naruto said, punching the Sandaime in the face, then backhanding him and hurling the cage into the stadium wall with enough force to create spider web cracks. I didn't have a choice. It had to be done. It was for the betterment of the community. The world needed to be safeguarded against the child of prophecy. It's why the elder god Raiden came and informed me of what needed to be done, said the Sandaime, who tried to get up but was kneed in the chest and then grabbed by the back of his battle uniform before being spun around into the wall again. Only this time only going through the damaged part of the stadium. A pitiful attempt by an inept deity to bind what cannot be bound by his rules, Naruto said simply before summoning his wrath hammer. Please, Naruto, halt. Have mercy. Sandaime crawled away from the boy he had wronged. Like the village demonstrated to me, said Naruto before being surrounded on all sides by Anbu and a man with long white hair he had never seen before standing protectively over the Sandaime. Naruto, stop. This is getting out of hand, said the figure, who was less than impressed and pleased by the interruption. And who are you to order me around? With rage in his eyes, Naruto said, I'm Jiraiya the Toad Sannin, and I'm your godfather. Jiraiya said, Naruto's eyes widening before narrowing and his rage growing exponentially. I see. So it's not enough that the old man denies my ancestry, but you abandon me to a life of torment in this village, only to return here to save him. Naruto said, pointing to the still-downed Hokage. What are you on about? The Sandaime said you were well-liked in the village, that you were being trained to the best of your abilities each time I visited to report what I learned from my spy network. Jiraiya said before returning his gaze to the Hokage's embarrassed expression. It appears that the old man duped you as well. Everything he told you is a complete lie, Naruto said with a hollow tone of amusement in his voice. What's going on, sensei? You said he was well-liked in Konoha. You said the Yondaime's dying wish was being fulfilled. Naruto was being properly guarded against his father's enemies, Jiraiya said, looking away from his second of three students as Naruto laughed. Loved, protected, except from a few people and on fewer occasions, I have received none of those things from this village. Without a doubt, he deserves credit, said Naruto, pointing his wrath hammer at the Sandaime. However, I can't let you kill him, Naruto. The invasion has ended. I took down Sabaku no Gaara, and his siblings are currently being detained, Jiraiya said, having done his share of fighting during the invasion. Meanwhile, Naruto was less than pleased with the Sannin's words, and he looked down at the severely injured cage the sage was standing over, knowing that now was not the time to deal with either of them, as he had other matters to attend to, and the enemy at the walls was one of them. We'll talk about it another time, old man. Consider this light beating a warm-up for the wrath I'll unleash on you later. For the time being, I have some pests to get rid of in my village, said Naruto as he prepared to leave to fight the now fleeing allied forces. Sensei, you have some serious explaining to do, and unless I get the whole truth out of your mouth, I'm going to let him finish you off, Jiraiya said, suppressing his own rage at the old man. The Sandaime sighed, his age finally catching up with him, and he felt things were only going to get worse from here.
So this was it for today. I will continue the story in next part. Till then, we weeb offline.